For every probably 13 Ableton projects that I start making that have like 30-second instrumentals with a vocal idea, I think one of them will stand out to me, and that's the one that I'll work all the way through and flesh out, and that's the one that you'll hear. It's somewhere along the process. I mean, I'm really proud of all the music that I've made that's been released. I don't think that you can find anything out there of mine that I wouldn't be just as excited to show as my newer songs. But I feel like somewhere along the process, whether it's while I'm making the instrumental, maybe I came up with like a guitar part or something catchy that I wanted to say, I can kind of pick it out in my brain and be like, yeah, this is an idea that I should expand on. For every probably 13 Ableton projects that I start making that have like 30-second instrumentals with a vocal idea, I think one of them will stand out to me, and that's the one that I'll work all the way through and flesh out, and that's the one that you'll hear. I wouldn't say that there's anything I really dislike about it. I feel like being vulnerable, through songwriting and creative expression online, and opening yourself up to criticisms from other people can be something that a lot of people, including myself, struggle with. Because, that vulnerability is so, like, kind of putting yourself up for interpretation, and depending on how personal you are with your songwriting, the story that you're trying to tell, or how true it is to you. I feel like public perception is always going to play a part in adding stress and, some turmoil to the artist experience, I guess. I embrace it personally. I'm not really one to delete like hate comments or something like that, unless it's something that's like would affect other people as well. Like if it's some just like blatant disrespect or like slander for no reason. But constructive criticism is different. I do take those with a grain of salt because it is my music and my art, and I am particular on how I express these things and how I go about making my music and my art. But I do take criticisms when they're valid, and I try and improve all the time. And I think it's important to pay attention to what the actual substance of the criticism is, and try and implement that into your projects moving forward if you feel like it's something that needs readjusting or reevaluating. I guess who I want to be, what I want to do, and just better ways to cope with life coming into my adulthood. I started making music when I was 16, so there's a lot of growth there, and I feel like without music my life would have been on a different path. Some mistakes I made was probably jumping at opportunities too quickly just because of initial excitement, and not really doing my diligence to make sure, all these opportunities were within my best interest. I've had a couple negative experiences with A&Rs and labels and, people within the industry. So I would definitely recommend just doing, your research, taking the extra steps to validate all the offers and all the opportunities that you have for yourself. And even if you don't have a team, just trying your best to go that extra mile, or, working on getting a team together, some people to, help you out with all that stuff. But I think that's probably my biggest mistake, is just taking things at face value, and it's put me in some bad positions, one step forward, two steps back a lot of times, and I've learned a lot since then, but definitely something that was hard early on. being an artist has caused me a lot of hardships. There's a lot of beauty in it, but I mean, I've gone into debt for my music. I've lost some relationships in my life due to music. I've also obviously gained relationships, and you know, it's a double-edged sword. So I would say it's the nature of it. All the good that can come from it. There's going to be a flip side to that, where you know, not everything that comes from music can be good. So I guess, yeah, I guess that would be it. Probably just, you know, financial struggles, relationships, things like that. Yeah, I think it's really easy to just be super excited about creating all the time, and all you want to do is wake up in the morning and just create. You want to make an amazing song every day. You know, that would be the dream. It's just to be able to sit down and everything you write and create is just incredible. But I think it's important to have other hobbies and other things that you prioritize alongside your creative passions. And I think that helps with it. I get burnout, you know, when I'm in like album mode, or I'm working on multiple songs, or juggling content creating, or, you know, audio engineering, all that stuff that I take on at the same time. They all play into each other with, like, sometimes I just need a break, so I'll go skateboard, you know, me and my roommate will go do something, we'll go shopping, or, you know, play some video games here and there, and that's more so how I deal with that creative burnout. It's just taking on some other things that are more like leisure for me, because music is fun, and I love doing it, but it is still work, you know. I have one particular one that directly translates to music in like an obscure way, but it was skateboarding for me, because I grew up skateboarding, and that taught me, like, you know, that willpower to push forward, you know, like learning new tricks on my skateboard. As funny as it sounds, it's like the same process as audio engineering, getting better at producing, or getting better at mixing. You know, it's hard at first, and then the more you do it, and the more you practice, and the more you try, you know, you get more comfortable with it. And it taught me that willpower to keep going, and, you know, the reward after you finally, you know, get a project right, or like land the trick right that you've been trying is, you know, it's the same feeling, and it's a great feeling. So skateboarding is a parallel to music for me, in a weird, obscure way, but that's probably the one for me. Since I started making music, my whole goal with music was to impact one person's life. And this is coming from 15-year-old me, who, when I wrote my first song, my whole goal was to, like, just receive a DM with one person just, like, telling me, like, or meet somebody at a show where they told me, like, hey, your music brought me out of a really dark place in my life. And I've had that happen, and that's all I really want, is my music to make a positive change. You know, and for my songs to be relatable, and to just help somebody in need, you know, somewhere, everybody who needs to hear my music. I hope that they find it.